Welcome to our program. Today we're going to tell you how to make a clean sweep of accidents. When we leave for work, we do so fully expecting that when our shift is over, we'll return home safely. While at work, we remind ourselves to watch what we're doing. We don't want any problems. We consider the things that could go wrong and follow safe work practices. Our goal is to prevent accidents, those that happen to us or our co-workers. That's what good safety housekeeping is all about. What are the basics of working safely? Well, after we get a handle on what could go wrong, we need to eliminate any hazards and have a contingency plan in mind should something pop up. We should also know how to use our tools correctly. That means safely. Standard work practices should be followed at all times. They're set up to keep us out of trouble. Remember to wear the proper personal protective equipment. Without it, we're just increasing the potential danger we face. We also need to know what we're made of. We must have a feel for our capabilities and our limitations. We should pace ourselves to get the job done correctly and without incident. We must constantly remind ourselves of the importance of good safety habits. Those are the basic points. Now let's get into a little more depth. Let's talk about cleaning house. For maximum efficiency and safety, your work environment must remain clean. That means disposing of unneeded materials and trash. This clutter is not only a hazard, but it can hide other problems as well. Each of us must take responsibility where safety is concerned. If you find a hazard, report it as quickly as possible. But don't tackle removing a hazard unless you've had the proper training. Mark the hazard and get help. Clutter is a primary cause of tripping accidents, so remember to keep doorways, especially emergency exits, free from debris and furniture. The same goes for staircases and aisles. Safe walkways in factories and warehouses need to be clearly identified. Make sure you walk within the lines. Do your best to keep from laying electrical cords where people walk. Not looking out for others can cause a painful accident. Find another outlet, or where possible, tape down cords. Stay away from quick and dirty approaches. Poor lighting is a major problem. It makes it difficult to spot hazards, so report burned-out bulbs immediately. Avoid areas with wet or newly waxed floors. Mark the area with a warning sign. If you must cross it, take your time. Where slip hazards are likely, safety shoes with non-slip soles should be worn. Taking these steps to manage your environment will make your workplace a safer place. The next thing we need to look at is how we use our tools. We should use the right tool for the job. Anything less, using a screwdriver as a chisel, for instance, could lead to a broken tool and mangled fingers. Makeshift tools are never a good idea. Using a chair as a ladder may save a few minutes, but it can also be a ticket to the hospital. Work smart. Bring in a good, solid ladder. Maintain your tools correctly, making sure they're all kept clean and in proper working order. Knives, for example, should be kept sharp A dull blade causes us to exert extra pressure. Losing control of the blade becomes all too easy. Remember to properly store your equipment after use. Forgetting to put away tools can lead to nasty surprises. Use only approved tools for machine maintenance. And remember, wherever possible, repair work should be conducted while moving parts are stopped. It's all too easy to get clothing or fingers snagged in machinery. Before repairing any equipment, locate, lock out, and tag all power sources. It's very important to consult your supervisor about the proper procedure. Having proper storage areas is an important part of safety housekeeping. Shelves should be sturdy and resistant to corrosion. Aisles must allow for safe, easy access to materials. Never put too many containers or too much weight on your shelves. Good lighting in storage areas is important too. If a hazard is coming your way, you'll want to see it. Supplies and equipment should be handled with care. Get a good grip when carrying things and take your time. Use proper lifting techniques to keep strain off your back. Back injuries can be too painful for words. Ask for help if an object is too heavy or bulky. Don't risk a serious accident. The best idea may be to use a hand truck or a forklift. Your job may require the use of personal protective equipment. Gear such as respirators, hard hats, and safety glasses. Gloves are routinely needed for a number of different applications. Ask your supervisor for more information on the types of PPE you'll need to work safely in your job. Hazardous substances are used in a variety of ways. They're found in cleaners, disinfectants, paints, and inks. You name it. Don't forget, though, that many chemicals can present special problems if they're not handled correctly. Be aware of the chemicals present in your work areas as well as any hazards they present. Read container labels and material safety data sheets. These tell us how to protect ourselves while working with hazardous materials. Personal protective equipment is often called for. Chemicals must also be stored with safety in mind. In addition to normal storage considerations, requirements may exist regarding temperature and ventilation. Place smaller quantities of flammable substances in UL-approved cans. Store them in a flammable materials cabinet. Secure compressed gas cylinders to a wall in a cool, well-ventilated area. Storerooms should be fire-resistant and free of corrosive fumes. We must also know how to properly dispose of the materials we're finished working with. Remember that some will require special handling. Flammables are especially dangerous, so be careful when getting rid of substances like cleaning fluids, oil, and photocopier inks. Depending on the substance, special waste disposal companies may need to be called in. Your supervisor will tell you more. Biological hazards like medical waste and even bloody bandages must be placed in special biohazard disposal containers. This helps prevent infection. Be careful around sharp objects like broken glass and needles. These may be contaminated and can easily puncture the skin. Hazardous substances are called hazardous for a reason. They can hurt you if you use them incorrectly. Take the proper precautions and pay attention to what you're doing. That brings us to our last topic. To prevent accidents, we need to look inside ourselves. And we must like what we see, at least where safety is concerned. We should have a positive attitude, chock full of good safety habits and overflowing with sound judgment. And we must have self-control, never losing our composure should things fail to go our way. It's important not to get too comfortable with a job either. When things become routine, we sometimes walk blindly into hazards we should have remembered. Don't let pressure to get the job done push you to recklessness. You can't take chances where safety is concerned. Never disable or remove power tool guards. They protect our fingers from high-speed danger. When working up high, remember to use some type of anti-fall device. Smoke detectors, emergency lights, and other warning devices are there for a reason. Keep them in working order. Pay attention to posted warnings. If the sign says no smoking, it means no smoking. There may be flammable substances in the area. Keeping house up here is the most important part of accident prevention. Keep tabs on yourself. Watch what you're doing and think positive thoughts. Let's review. Examine your work environment. Keep things clean. Report any hazards you find. Take responsibility. Know your tools, how to use them, and maintain them. Practice lockout, tagout techniques. Handle and store materials correctly. Wear the proper personal protective equipment. Work safely with chemicals. Read material safety data sheets and act accordingly. Know yourself and have a positive safety attitude. Following these guidelines will help keep your house safe. And that's what it's all about, preventing